Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Right. The maiden speeches have been attached to the official minutes and are available on the website as minutes of I'll get answers your question, Councillor Darby. So, do I have I'd like someone to. I'd move that.
I'll second, Your Worship.
Okay, that's to receive this, my speech, my inaugural speech, plus those speeches of the others. You can get that thing out of the road, wherever it's possible. Please put that clever thing on my page. Okay. Moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary? Carried. Thank you very much for that. Now that the entertaining speeches have come, we have the legal speeches. Could I welcome Helen Wild and Meredith Webb to the speech, who will advise us on the risks of everything. Welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship. The risks of not quite everything, but morena koutou katoa. My name is Helen Wild. For those who don't know me, I'm General Counsel here at Auckland Council. And with me today is Meredith Webb, who will be familiar to many of you. She is the manager of the public law team at Council. Look, our report this morning is for a very specific purpose, and that is to meet the legislative requirement set out in the Local Government Act that at the first meeting of the three-yearly election, or following the three-yearly election, elected members will receive a general explanation of the laws affecting them as elected members. So our report provides that explanation for you. We list the key legislative provisions that apply to you as elected members, both in your individual capacity, but also in relation to your collective decision-making. So the attachment to the report provides a more general explanation of these core legislative requirements. It's a relatively brief report, but it is important in that it does set out the core fundamental legal obligations that each of you have. So Meredith will run through that framework for you shortly. We don't propose to go through it in detail this morning. You do have the report. Most of you will have attended the Kura Kawana legal training over the last few weeks, and it will be very familiar to most of you here in the chamber this morning. But we are, of course, very happy to have any further sessions that each of you may require, one-on-one, or in any other way. If you missed that session or you need some further information, please do just let us know. You will, of course, receive legal advice throughout the term to ensure that you understand your legal obligations and to support your decision-making. So Meredith will run through the laws that we need to bring to your attention this morning. Thanks, Meredith.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm just giving Sandra the eye to get the slides moved along. So look, yes, as Helen said, really brief overview. We went into a lot of detail around this in those Kura Kawana sessions. So the key legislation that affects you individually is up there on the slide. The Local Authorities Members' Interests Act, which has a participation rule and a contracting rule. Essentially, it prohibits elected members from taking decisions in respect of which they have a financial interest, and it also disqualifies members from office in circumstances where they have contracts with the local authority in excess of $25,000. The Crimes Act and the Secret Commissions Act, legislation which contains offences relating to bribes, improper gains, and corrupt use of information. The Financial Markets Conduct Act applies to Auckland Council because we list bonds on various stock exchanges, and the key provisions there relate to ensuring that we keep information confidential. And on Kotahi you can find the continuous disclosure policy and manual if you would like more information around that. The Health and Safety at Work Act creates legal obligations on council to protect the health and safety of workers and ensure that workplaces are safe. And there are particular duties which sit on leaders within the organisation, including elected members. There are also provisions in the Local Government Act which relate to personal liability of elected members. And those are around situations where unlawful conduct occurs or council negligently or intentionally fails to collect money owing to it. There are various defences in that respect which are set out in the report, and it also requires a report from the Auditor General before any action is taken. Moving on to the next slide, which relates to the laws that apply to your collective decision making. Obviously, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act, which deals with both information, the principle of availability there, unless there is good reason to withhold, and also sets the framework for local authority meetings. Local Government Act 2002, sort of the key piece of legislation setting out your purpose and your functions applying to all local authorities. Our own legislation, the Local Government Auckland Council Act, which sets up the council and provides for your shared governance with local boards, amongst other things. The New Zealand Bill of Rights Act and the Human Rights Act require council to act consistently with human rights and fundamental freedoms. And just a reminder that there are other statutory decision-making requirements in a range of legislation, including the Reserves Act and the Resource Management Act, which guide your decision-making. And then just a reminder about the general public law principles to act lawfully, fairly and reasonably. So look, real whistle-stop tour there. Detail in the report. We've also discussed it at length at those Kura Kawana sessions, and again, very happy to hold another one with anyone one-on-one if you'd like some more information. And just a reminder up there on the slide that you can contact us at any time if you would like support or legal advice. So that's it from us, unless there are any questions.
Having been frightened into taking any actions at all, I'll risk asking for those from a mover and seconder to receive that advice. Shane and Lottie. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, carried. Thank you for that. Now what? You still want it? I'm going to ask Sandra with an O'Toole to can lead us through the next one, our meetings coming up.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors, you will see that we have suggested that we have extraordinary meetings of the governing body on the 10th and the 17th of November, and then we have your first ordinary meeting on the 24th of November. This will cover off any decision-making activities that you need to undertake until we can get a structure in place and get your meetings fully going.
Any questions about that? It's fairly obvious. All right, can I have a mover to accept? Pete? Moved and seconded. Walker and Deputy Mayor. In favour?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried. Okay, we'll see you in a week or two. Week and two. Right. Right, there's no extraordinary business that I've been made aware of, so I'm going to propose that we close the meeting and thank you for
Your Worship,
attending.
sorry, I just got a part-tie, Your Worship, and my humble apologies for being late, but I got that to the team. I'm looking at the situation here in regards to the three Samoans together. Was that your call, Your Worship, or was that staff's call? Because I just feel, and I need to say this because it's important for me to say this, I feel as if we're being put into a little box. That's how I personally feel, and it's important that I say this now than start talking to others to ensure that that is not the case. Secondly, and I'll take it up with staff, Your Worship, is my particular nameplate here. I will take it up with staff in regards to the spelling of my surname. So look, and as you know, Your Worship, the spelling of anybody's name is crucial to their whakapapa. So that is why I will take that up with them. So I just didn't like the fact that you laughed at it, Your Worship. So that's my partai to you.
Kia ora, Alf. Councillor Filipina, I notice just until you just draw it says Filipania, which is quite incorrect. And so I agree with that. Unfortunately, you arrived a little late, and I said this was just an outline of the seating, and if you wish to raise any questions, please do so. There is no... The only thing I had in mind was I didn't really want to have it looking like Parliament, where we had all the blues on one side and the reds on the other, so that if you care to swap with somebody else or chat amongst yourselves to do so, please do so. You've got a week to adjust accordingly. Is that all right? So there was no intention of that.
Kia ora.
But who do we raise that with?
You can raise it with me, I suppose, for a start, or if you can find someone that you're happy to swap with. I think we've had a couple of those already today, so go ahead and do so. And but I'm not opposed to receiving input at all. So, Alf, if you'd like to, or Councillor Filipina, you're welcome to raise that with me, and same with others. There was no intention to create. If you notice, unfortunately, I've managed to get a lot of Pākehās together as well, but there was no intention there either. All right. Okay, so I'll put the motion to close was moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, carried. Okay, we've now finished at 11:20. Thanks for that. Meeting is closed.